So it only feels right that I ask Warren to reflect as our co-founder on the 5 years before we open it up. Warren, please.
Thank you so much, Ed. It's been a rough going when we first started. I know Sally always wanted to rub it in, play that very first episode of the podcast. Sally, I thought I was going to do that, but then I'm kind of still feeling a little bit embarrassed. So I
Well, you don't have to be. We should like remind ourselves where we came from.
Exactly, exactly. But just for the sake of it, I will patch it in here. So if anyone want to listen later on, it's going to be part of this immediately after I'm done talking, or maybe toward the end, I'll patch it in when I'm editing all of this. But yeah, it's been a long journey, starting back December 2020. That's when Austin and I got started, and we started talking about it on the 18th. And I think our first episode went out that day, or the 19th or the 20th. So this marks that 5th anniversary to the exact date when we got started. And so I'm so thankful that through it all, and we've seen a lot of hardships and all of that, and thank God we're still here. And when Austin went home, departed, passed away, whatever language you want to use, last year, it hit me really hard. And it's like, gosh, what are we going to do? But thank God, like they always say, there's always going to be someone that rises up to fill that empty spot. And so I'm thankful for the crew in general, John, Kerry, Sally, and Ed. You guys have been rock solid in making sure that we still exist regardless of what happens and all of that. So I'm most thankful to you guys first for doing what you do and keeping up with what we need to get done. And so I'm mighty thankful to all of you guys, mighty proud of you guys. And then most importantly to the listeners, because if you don't have listeners, then all that work that you do and all that labor is in vain. And I want to particularly thank all of you that are listening to us, because you have made this to be what it is. And I'm so thankful to all of you. And my experience, or my expectation, I should say, is that I'm hoping, though, that we'll have more years to come and that we'll continue to grow. And most especially, Austin was into that YouTube. He was so much into YouTube. And so if he were alive today, he would be so proud of it, because we've kind of grown there on the YouTube viewership. And if you're listening to us and hearing our voice, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And so I want to thank you all for making Blind Android Users Podcast what it is. And again, thank you, crew members. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you. So what I would like us to do now, Ed is having some technical difficulties. I want each of our crew to kind of reflect on these years since they joined us. John, let's start with you. How about we start with you when you joined us, if you remember. It's been such a long time. But if you remember, give us a little bit of a walk down that memory and all that experience.
I remember not by date, but by phone. And I remember I had the Z Fold 4, I think, when I joined. So that must have been 3 years ago. I remember I had done an unboxing and submitted it so that you guys could include it in the podcast, because I had been a listener for probably at least a year at that point. And you had me on as a guest, and you loved me so much you invited me back permanently. So
I did. That's my brother from another mother out there. Loves Android.
And what the best part, I don't know if you realize this or not, but inside baseball, as they call it, you invited me to the Telegram group, and you had the settings for the group set to show the entire history, even for new members. So I got to see you where you had brought it up to them, and everyone else's response, whether or not I should be invited.
Oh my gosh.
So
it was
terrible. Luckily, nobody objected. So yeah, I was happy to be included. I was very excited.
Yeah.
And I've been around for, yeah, I guess it's been over 3 years now. And when we unfortunately lost Austin, he had already taught me, how to add chapter markers to the podcast with Reaper. He had taught me how to upload things to YouTube, because every once in a while, I mean, he was very diligent, but every once in a while, he, like when he was hospitalized or something, he could not get to it, and he asked me to do it for him. So I kind of had a good idea of, how to get that stuff done. And, ever since he's passed, I just kind of took on, his responsibilities. But yeah, we definitely miss him.
And this is why it just continued as though nothing had happened, even though we lost Austin. But you are there to fill in that spot, and that's what I was talking about. Sally Boy, let's go to you now, and reflecting on this and how far we've come. You remember those days, my boy?
I really remember those days. When I first joined here for the podcast, it was to tell everyone the legendary Android journey story, where I needed to remove the battery. This is one of the favorite.
That's one of my favorite stories.
So this is one of the favorite episodes that I can tell. So since then, after some episodes, I joined as a co-host at episode 116. So I'm really happy to be here ever since then. It's more than 2 years and a half. Austin was so happy when I joined here. He was always messaging me, come on, you should be here. You should be really showing off yourself. You're doing a great job. You're doing your website and you should be part of the podcast. He was more happier than me being here. He was so excited. I was really happy to be here just because he was really doing a great job there. Like, he was telling me, okay, I messaged Warren. He's really happy to have you here. I didn't even tell you. So that's one of the days. Like, I didn't say the history about me, as John said, when I joined the crew. So I don't know what you guys thought about me coming here. But
I think Austin and I just had a back and forth, and how we wanted you on here, and most especially, and then very importantly, we joined hands with you guys, and you guys were being like sisters, both the Accessible Android and Blind Android users. So we're together. If you like the written content, you want to look at accessibleandroid.com, and that's where you find all the written stuff.
Okay, I'm part of this, but seeing from an outsider perspective, we are doing a great job. We joining hands together. Like, since 2 years and a half, it's really progressing well. The podcast is doing great. The website is doing great. So we just get it from one another. We are really getting strength from one another. This is something great that we're doing so far. And I'm really grateful. And I'm sure Austin will be so happy to see what we've become on the website, on the podcast, on the YouTube channel. He was so excited for the content. Like, when he was seeing an article on the website, he was like, oh, there's another article. Like, I'm reading it. I'm so happy about it. He was like more than happy for him. Like, we were happy too, but he was happier than anyone else. Like, don't you see it? That was great from him.
It is. And I always wish that he had a kid, so we would have that kid here when he's grown up to see what his dad was part of. But anyway, that's one of those things. We saved the last for best, or the best for last. Of course, that's assuming that Ed is not back. Karen girl, let's go to you out there in beautiful Lebanon and start talking to us about when you join us here on the Blind Android Users.
Well, I became officially one of the crew members. I think that was in April 2023. Well, before I did a few demos for the podcast, and it started all as it was a personal challenge. This is maybe the first time that I talk about this. I'm a person who has an issue with my voice. So I always said that I'm not ready to do demonstrations or to be live in podcasts or such things. So then there was a conversation on the IceFree mailing list, and you were talking about the file managers on the podcast, and I said, okay, you missed the one that I like the most, my favorite one. And you said, Warren, you said, okay, so you go ahead and just demonstrate it for the podcast. I was like, okay, what about taking this challenge and doing this to challenge myself before anything else? So it went like that, and I did the demo. And actually, I don't know how, but it's one of the most viewed video audios of the podcast on YouTube. And well, I still more a person who likes to write messages, not to use voice messages. And I still consider every episode that I join a challenge to myself to just become more confident about my communication skills with respect to being like in a podcast. It's not easy actually, but I see myself more into written content. And I want to say that I'm really glad to be a part of Accessible Android, to be a co-founder with my teammate and friend, Saleh. And of course, I want to thank all the other team members as well. Well, it has been a great journey with Accessible Android. And I think that we have reached things or levels that we didn't even think about maybe when we started. And I hope that both the podcast and the Accessible Android website, they will just keep progressing and keep advancing and keep helping people. And yeah, it has been really a great journey, actually.
Thank you so much, Karen. That's a wonderful story. And like I always said, when I first heard you, I'm like, I want that girl on, because you reminded me so much of some lady here from Lebanon named Bridget Gabriel. And I'd always loved her voice and like how she was just precise on whatever she does. And so you remind me so much of her. And so I'm like, it's a great talent we got here. So we're so happy to have you and all that you do for us. And with the Confused screen reader, for those of you in Rio Linda, that's Jisho screen reader, or let Austin refer to it as a Joshua screen reader. So thank you so much, Karen, for all the work that you do. And we couldn't be who we are today without you. And so I just want to again thank all of you crew members. Ed, if you are here with us,
I am back.
Could you?
I am here.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what happened, how you got here, and all of that. Unfortunately, we lost you earlier there, so I took your role, and so now you go ahead and tell us about when it was that you got on here with Blind Android Users Podcast.
Yeah, so like some of the others, like John and like Saleh, I was originally telling my Android journey story, and then you, Warren, invited me to be co-host. And I was trying to work out when that was, and I started doing the show notes in episode 13, but I'd come on a couple of podcasts before that, I think. I can't quite remember which was.
You joined us in February of 2021. That's all
right.
I can remember.
Yeah, I can't remember which episode number it was, and I was trying to look it up. It was before episode.
It was 13.
No, it was before 13. Okay. So that was when I did the show notes, and I listened back to 12, and I was on then, and I was trying to like scroll back to see when it was, but I didn't quite make it. I think it must have been 10 or 11, but early days, and it was COVID times, of course. So everyone was at home, which is kind of interesting because, you know, normally I've missed a few for various reasons, but I had a good run at the start when I wasn't allowed to go anywhere on a Saturday.
Well, thank you so much, Ed, for being with us. And, you know, basically you've been with us since, gosh, maybe when we were barely like a month old, somewhere in there. So definitely we're thankful to you and all that you've been doing for us, and especially for our listeners and for blind Android users in general. Now, cede back the role to you, and you keep us rolling, as maybe you'll call on our developers and say a word or two about their apps and all of that, and then we'll open up the party.